My name is Riley Garrett, and today I will be speaking with the candidates running in the election for Mayor of Westchester. We will be presenting all three interviews in their entirety in ballot order. I'm here with Lillian D Baptiste to ask about her goals and interests in becoming the next elected mayor. To start, please introduce yourself and tell me a little bit about your background.
Well, hi, Riley. Thank you for that introduction. My name again is Lillian D Baptiste, and I want to be mayor for so many reasons. But let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a lifelong resident of Westchester. Although not born here, I've been raised here. And I've gone through all the public schools, including Westchester University. And I've lived in at least 4 or 5 wards of the borough. So I feel that I know Westchester pretty good. Secondly, I am a lifelong funeral director. I've been a funeral director for over 40 years. And so I've done that. I've worked in a family business. I've worked with my father, Dr. Clifford E. DeBaptiste, in a family business. And to that end, we started in 2008 a second business called Milestone Events. And so I've been in business and been an entrepreneur and worked with the community all of my life. And so that's what I've done. I've had leadership roles in the community, and that have taken me to all parts of Chester County and all parts of the borough of Westchester. So I've had the good fortune of knowing a little bit of everybody in Westchester and across cultural boundaries and ethnic boundaries and religious and racial boundaries. I've had an opportunity to know a lot of people while living in Westchester.
So why are you interested in becoming the next mayor of Westchester?
I'm interested in being mayor because I think I can represent Westchester well. The face of the mayor, the face of Westchester, PA, needs to be someone who is unabashedly enthusiastic about Westchester, who wants to bring people together across all the boundaries, artificial boundaries that we create as people, and bring people to the table. And that's a skill set that I believe I have. I have 3 assets going for me. One, that I've served in leadership roles in many arenas. 2, I listen and listen well to people, and often are on the front line of grief and grieving families, and sometimes even conflict resolution and helping them work through their grief with their loved ones and their other family members. So I listen to what's being said and even what's not being said. And number 3, I think, as I said, I have the compassion to listen to everyone and understand where they are coming from. So I have the compassion, the ability to listen, and the knowledge of all different sections of the borough that I can bring to this job that I think differentiates me and sets me apart from many of the candidates.
Absolutely. So what qualities may differentiate you and your ideas from the other candidates?
Oh, well, I don't want to be redundant, but I think the quality that sets me apart is, 1, the desire to bring people together, the desire to have people collaborate, to bring different people together to answer the questions and the problems that towns like Westchester have. And one of the things I have realized in canvassing is Westchester, and I'm reminded of it, is Westchester is filled with the best and the brightest people. And so many people have so many hidden talents. And I'm eager to make sure that they are part of the conversation. And I think if I can convene the conversation and have many different people feel engaged in Westchester, because that's what we all want, to feel that we can make a difference, not only in our family and friends' lives, but our town's lives, if we have that opportunity.
So is there a particular goal that you would have in mind if taking over this position as mayor?
Yes. My goal is because of, well, my reason, I should say, and I'm not sure if goal is the operative word, but my reason for wanting to be mayor is because I think this country and this town has been affected by what's going on in the country, is a little bit beleaguered by divisive conversation. And Westchester is at a crossroads. And we've been beat down a little between COVID and all the top-down divisive rhetoric that we get. We're under the gun. We're under the gun financially, and I feel like we're under the gun in terms of respecting each other. And so my goal is for people to feel that they are valued. My goal is for that everyone feels that they are valued and they are seen and that they are heard in Westchester.
How will you stay motivated if you become the next mayor of Westchester?
Okay, next question, please, huh? How will I stay motivated? Well, I feel motivated when I get things done. That's the way I've always been all my life. So I feel motivated when I see problems, when I solve problems, when being a part of a community, you know, just being out in the community kind of motivates me, because I feel good. I feel good when I'm out in the community talking to them, whatever they're talking about. So that's motivation in itself. I look forward to doing the joyful things that the mayor does. That will motivate me. Like, I look forward to things like marrying people and ribbon cutting and going to all the different nooks and crannies of events that people have in this town. I mean, this town has a lot going on, and I look forward to being in the thick of it. So that in itself is motivation. For over 40 some years, I've worked and helped people on the other end of the spectrum. So I look forward to being a part of all of the joyful occasions.
Thank you so much for your time. I am here with Beth Ann Rossica to ask about her goals and her interests in becoming the next elected mayor. To start, please introduce yourself and tell me a little bit about your background.
Well, thanks very much for having me today, Riley. I appreciate it. As you mentioned, my name is Beth Ann Rossica. I've been a resident of Westchester Borough for 19 years, living mostly in the same place on West Minor Street. And I have a background working with underserved children and families all over the country. And about 4 years ago, I started my own consulting business, and I work with a number of different agencies, advising them on evidence-based practices, business analysis, corporate reorganization. I do a lot of different things for different companies, depending on what their needs are. I have a PhD in education. I also have 2 boys in the local public school system, and I live here with them and my husband.
So why are you interested in becoming the next mayor of Westchester?
Well, first and foremost, I'm super passionate about living in the borough. When my husband and I bought our house here, we were really interested in living in town so that we could take advantage of all the great things that the borough has to offer. And back 19 years ago, there was not as much that the borough had to offer as what it does today. But it was really important to us that we wanted to live in a diverse community. We knew that when we decided to have kids, we wanted our kids to grow up with people that didn't all look like them. And so it was a great opportunity. And we looked long and hard. It took us about 9 months to actually find a house that we could both agree on that was in the borough. But so we're super passionate about the borough. And really my goal for running for mayor is that I really want to bring our community together. I think there's been a lot of divisiveness, particularly over the last year and a half, that's created some issues that I don't think are good or healthy. And I would like the opportunity to try to bring everybody together in a number of ways, whether it's working with our police department, working with Westchester University, or our business community. I think that there's a lot that could be done to focus on bringing people together and finding that common ground. We know we all have differences of opinion on many things, but oftentimes we have more in common than what we think, and we can start as a building point.
What qualities may differentiate you and your ideas from the other candidates?
Well, I think that first and foremost, I have concrete plans of what I want to do if I'm elected mayor. So I have a plan day one of some initiatives that I want to roll out. I talked a little bit about this at the debate on Monday, but I have a program called the Youth and Police Initiative that I want to bring to the borough to bring our police and at-risk community together. I want to really work with Westchester University to improve relationships between the college students and our residents. And as I mentioned, I really want to work on making this a more business-friendly environment, reducing some red tape. So I believe that I have really concrete plans when I hit the ground running on day one about what I want to do to implement to get things moving. I think the other thing that differentiates me from the other candidates is that despite living here for 19 years and actually living in the area for 35 years, I am a relative newcomer to the other two candidates who have pretty much spent their entire life born and raised here. And while I think that that's an asset in some ways, I also think that it provides a different thinking when you haven't lived here your whole life. So I think that I bring a different perspective than maybe the other candidates because of my varied experiences of where I've lived.
Is there a particular goal that you may have in mind if taking over the role as mayor?
I've talked a little bit about this. I mean, my big goal is in terms of bringing our community together. I'll talk a little bit more about the YPI because this is something that I'm super excited about. The mayor's largest responsibility is to oversee the police department. And I believe that I have more experience than the other candidates in working with police officers and police departments. I've worked with officers all over the country implementing this program called the Youth and Police Initiative. If folks are interested in learning about it, you can check it out on their website. It's ypiworld.org. It's a nationwide program that is evidence supported, where we bring together police officers and at-risk kids for 5 two-hour sessions where they engage in role playing and a number of different activities so that the police get to know the kids get to know the police. They really deal with a number of issues around implicit bias. And by the end of the 5 days, everybody has a very different view of one another from where they started. And that includes the police and the kids. And so I've seen this program transform communities. We've done this in Boston, Kansas City, New York, and in much more difficult areas than in Westchester. So I believe that in our community, we could have such a strong impact to improve relations, not just between the police and the community, but really amongst all of our community members in terms of the impact that this program could have. So I'm excited about bringing that program here to Westchester and really making a difference for our kids and our police officers. And I'll mention that I've talked with the chief of police and a number of our officers about the program, and they're all very interested. I've also spoken with the executive director of the Mountain Center because we would probably identify kids to participate in the program through that program at the Mountain Center, and they're interested and excited about working with us as well.
So how will you stay motivated if you become the next mayor of Westchester?
Well, I have a lot of energy. People tell me that I have a bit of a type A personality. I don't like to sit still. And once I get one thing done, I like to move on to the next thing. Part of what I love about my consulting business is that my projects and my day are always different. I finish something and then I move on to the next. So I would really see that as keeping me motivated in the borough here. First, working through the Youth Police Initiative. I want to focus on doing listening sessions within the community so that residents could come once a month to a very relaxed, casual environment to talk about things that concern them, bring up issues, not just have a 2-minute comment at a borough council meeting, but actually have engaging conversation about areas that people are either concerned about or happy about. So I think that that would definitely keep me engaged and motivated, hearing from our residents on a regular basis. I also want to do something like that with our business community. I know that the bid does some of that, but that's not the entire business community in the borough. It's only certain sections. So I would really want to reach out to all of our businesses to provide an opportunity for them to share with us, what's good about doing business, what's bad about doing business, what could we do differently to make this a more business-friendly environment. So I think really staying engaged with all of the constituents in our community will definitely keep me motivated to look for the next project that we need to accomplish.
Thank you so much for your time. I am here with Eric Lorgus to speak about his goals and interests in becoming the next elected mayor. In interest of full disclosure, Mr. Lorgus is a sponsor of our regular program. To start, please introduce yourself and tell me a little about your background.
Thank you, Riley. I'm Eric Lorgus, and I was born and raised in Westchester. I have been very active in the community over the years. I actually served on borough council a number of years ago for one term, during which I was finance chairman. And then a few years after that, I was elected to the Government Study Commission, which wrote the borough's home rule charter. And about 20 years ago, I sort of took a vacation from borough activities to buy a company that was almost bankrupt, and it was called Great Valley Industries, and I did manage to turn it around, and I'm still there today. And then I guess in 2013, when the Barclay Park was threatened, I sort of reemerged in the local scene, got very involved with the Barclay Park and helped the people come up with a strategy that ultimately did save the land. And then a few years ago, after Uptown opened, I was invited to serve on the board. And after a few years, they asked me to be vice chairman, which is what I am there today. I also serve on the Borough Council, 2 committees of Borough Council. One is the Financial Advisory Committee, and the other is the Historical Commission.
Why are you interested in becoming the next mayor of Westchester?
So on my role in advising the borough on financial matters, I've seen there's a lot that needs to be done, and that's my wheelhouse. That's my strength. I have a lot of borough government experience. I have a lot of financial and management experience through my business career, and I feel I can. I mean, the mayor, the role is technically the role of the mayor is technically to supervise the police department, but I can do a lot more for the borough than just that. And so that's why I'm running for mayor.
What qualities may differentiate you and your ideas from the other candidates?
Well, for one, I don't think the mayor is an entry-level job, and I do have government experience. As I said, I served on borough council and the Government Study Commission, so I've held 2 elective offices prior to this run. And I think that, well, philosophically, I'm very different than one of the candidates. And then I guess, with the other one, it's more a question of experience versus something else. And I'm not sure how to describe it, but I think all 3 of us are very, very different.
Is there a particular goal that you have in mind if taking over the role as mayor?
Well, yeah, first of all, the police department is the borough's largest department, the most expensive. And I certainly hope to be able to bring my financial and management background to achieve some efficiencies in making the police department more efficient, maybe slow down the growth of its annual increases in its budget. And I'm an environmentalist, so I would like to see the police department purchase some electric vehicles and use them as patrol cars. I know that several other cities in the United States have done that, and it's been very successful. And I think that would fit in with the clean and green initiatives that are already going on in the borough.
How will you stay motivated if you become the next mayor of Westchester?
I have never had trouble being motivated. I love this town. I love the energy of it. I love the people, the streets, the architecture. I was down in Ellicott City, Maryland today, and just driving through those little windy streets, I realized that really what characterizes a town is its kind of look and vibe. And Westchester has that much more. I mean, Ellicott City is a little tiny city. Westchester is that times 5.
Thank you so much for your time. Please join us next time as we resume our coverage and live streams of local government meetings. Now, if you'd like to see us cover more meetings, events, or provide more information about things going on around town, please consider sponsoring our show via Patreon. Our goal is to make community-funded news and not have to rely on ads, and we will produce as much as we can with the budget you give us. So please, like and share us on Facebook and subscribe on YouTube. It's the easiest way to support us and help us bring you the news. Finally, if you have any news tips, an event you'd like us to cover, or just want to say hi, you can reach us via email at westchesterchronicle@gmail.com. We look forward to hearing from you. Our program is produced by Crimson Planet Media and distributed by KeystoneDigital.tv. Our music is by Doug Keller. Thank you for your time, and we hope to see you soon. Until then, I'm Riley Garrett with the Westchester Chronicle.